Well, I just fixed this Rock Band kit, and I want to tell you about it. I've been taking a nostalgia trip through the old Rock Band games, playing the career mode on the drums. It's been super, super fun. However, I'm like halfway through Rock Band 2, and I started getting troubles with my yellow pad. The yellow pad started like dropping, like, well, at first, it seemed like it started dropping inputs, right? And at first, I just tried to harden my resolve and insist that I must just be bad at the game and powered through, right? But it kept getting worse. And at one point, it was like just having entire periods of time where it was completely dead.
Look at that yellow pad, dude.
So yeah, so clearly there was like an actual problem here. So I decided to actually take the kit apart, and despite being like a drummer that plays a electric drum kit, I actually have like no idea how triggers work. So I didn't really know what to expect on the inside of this drum thing. I didn't know whether I was going to be able to fix it really, but you know, or how complicated it was going to be. So I wanted to take a look though, because you know, I like taking stuff apart and trying to fix it, right? I like doing the dumb guy thing of take it apart, look at it and go, yeah, all this looks fine, and then putting it back together. So I tried doing that, right? So firstly, as far as disassembling goes, this pad just pulls off. It takes a bit of force though, like it takes more force than I was really expecting, but you can actually see what you're trying to do. There's 4 like rubber plugs, and if you look at the back of the kit, you can actually see in these holes that are in the corner, you can actually see the rubber plug in there that you're pulling out. Now, on the inside, it's pretty simple. It's just a flat piece of plastic with some padding, and there's a little slot in the center for some kind of sensor. And again, not really knowing what I was doing, I'm just like taking stuff apart and just looking at it to be like, does this look okay? I guess, right? But I got to this little sensor, and I was a little scared to take it apart at first to kind of dissect it, right? But I figured that worst case scenario, if I completely ruin it, I can maybe try to get like a broken kit off eBay and use its sensor as a donor part, you know, just like solder that in or something with the, just, you know, patch the wires or whatever. But when I took it apart, I learned a lot.
All right, I have to show you this because it's like UFO technology as far as I'm concerned. So I've completely dissected the sensor of my yellow pad, and it's all cracked up, which is probably part of the problem. But anyway, I stripped the contacts off of these wires, and if I touch them together, nothing happens, right? There's no reaction. But on here, there is this like silver stuff that's on this disc, and if the red wire is on the silver stuff and the black wire is on the gold plate, then look at that. When you flick this, what the hell is happening? I don't get it. Crazy.
So clearly this thing is like borked, and I have no idea how it works. So off to Google, YouTube, whatever, and right away I found out that this is a piezoelectric sensor. And if you're curious about exactly how it works, I would recommend this excellent video. It is by Steve Mold. There is a link in the description for it. Really, really great video to know like exactly how this thing works. And at this point, I am elated because I know 2 things. One, that this is a generic device. It's not some like proprietary Rock Band drum kit sensor that you can only get in Rock Band drum kits because they're not being not being manufactured anymore or something, you know. And B, I can get it on Amazon. So the sensor measures in at 19 millimeters. Closest I could find on Amazon was 20 millimeters. and the smallest I could find was a pack of 20. So I ordered the pack. When they came, trimmed the wires on the Rock Band kit back a little bit, and I tested the connection just by holding it together, and it seems to work. So at this point is the easiest fix possible. I decided to desolder the leads that came pre-soldered onto the new sensor, and I soldered the Rock Band kit's wires directly to the new sensor. The red wire, remember the red wire goes to the inner circle, and the gray-black wire goes on the outer ring. And then the original sensor also had like this piece of adhesive on the back, but because the sensor is sandwiched between these two silicone pads anyway, I didn't think that replacing like the adhesive was necessary, so I just went without it for reassembly. And the 20mm size fit perfectly, so it's time to test. And wouldn't you know it, it's working perfectly. And this is my favorite kind of fix, where it's like, not only do I have, not only did I fix my toy, right? But also, it's like, it's demystified this thing greatly for me. Like, I learned something really cool, that these things are like extremely simple how they work, It's just a piece of plastic with a rubber pad on the top of it, and then inside of it, there is a single device that has two leads that go to it, right? It's just got your negative and your positive wire are soldered to this single sensor. This single sensor is a generic device that you can get off Amazon. And yeah, so it's like my confidence in my ability to fix this thing in the future is high. And my confidence that anyone can do it is high. I mean, it's actually simple how these things work. It's all like the sensor is almost like each pad has a tiny little microphone in it. You know what I mean? That is basically just for that pad. So yeah, it's that's all. I wanted to share this because I haven't really seen much online about fixing dead pads. Usually when you see a broken Rock Band kit, it's like the plastic broke and my whole thing's off, my kick pedal broke in half. Or people really don't like these bubbles that form on the rubber pads. And that's another thing, is I was a lot more worried about these bubbles before I did this fix, because again, it was like a mystery to me. It might as well have been a alien device, that I have no idea like how bad these bubbles are. But now that I know how the sensor works in there, the bubbles don't actually bother me at all, right? I mean, they're bad for rebound, but it's not going to mess with the sensor, Anyway, like I'm saying, most of the time online, you just hear about like the plastic is broken or the pads are bubbly. You don't hear about like, here's how I fixed a dead sensor. And so there you go. It's really, really easy. Really, really easy if you know how to solder, which this is the easiest type of soldering, well, actually, you wouldn't have to solder. You could just splice the leads that come pre-soldered onto the existing wires, with some electrical tape or whatnot. So yeah, you actually don't even need to be able to solder. So anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And check out the stream where I will be finishing the Rock Band 2 campaign, and we're going to be moving onto Rock Band Beatles pretty soon. Shoo, shoo. Come on, flat top, he gone grooving up